The Little Hours is a comedy written and directed by Josh Baina, and it's about a young servant played by Dave Franco who flees his town to escape torture and death. And as he is fleeing, he runs into the father of a convent played by John C. Reilly, who offers him work and shelter at the convent that's full of mentally, emotionally, and sexually unstable nuns, in which you are played by Aubrey Plaza, Alison Brie, and Kate Masucci from Garfunkel and Oates. So obviously one of the things that attracted me to this film was that it has a very promising cast who all contain tons of comedic potential. And another thing that really attracted me to see this film was its choice of setting and plot. I love seeing unforgiving comedies that have a setting for religious satire. I mean, considering that Monty Python's Life of Brian is one of my favorite comedies of all time, it would be natural for me to anticipate a movie like this. And walking out of The Little Hours, I thought it was a great film that surprised and impressed me on different levels. Because when I watched the trailer for this, I really didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if this was going to be a raunchy comedy, or if it was going to rely on edgy jokes, and to my pleasant surprise, this is actually a pretty slow-moving, clever comedy that does not rely on using one-note punchline humor for its laughs. A lot of the laughs you get from this film are through its situational and conversational pieces, and what I mean by that is that during the situations and conversations that the characters have and go through, there is no big joke that someone says that is intended for a quick laugh. You laugh at the ridiculousness yet realistic portrayal of these scenes, and this film actually didn't do too bad of a job at being immersive and establishing its setting in time. The only thing that seems outside of its own setting are the accents and vocabulary of the characters, but it didn't really bother me all that much because for a comedy, they have to make the characters potentially attachable in some way. And for a comedy, this really doesn't feel choppy at all. Like, all the comedy seems to actually flow within its story and characters. I was really surprised to see this film flesh out its characters and story both comedically and dramatically, because all of these characters have their own arcs and personalities. You have the insecure nun with an identity struggle, the heathenistic nun that doesn't really give a shit about anything, and the nun who wants to be a good, pure, hardworking nun but can't help but be the exact opposite. And all of these actresses portray their characters convincingly and were well casted for this film. If you've already seen the trailer for this, you already know that yes, there is some sexually explicit material explored in this film, but in my opinion, I thought it was all captured well enough to the point where I didn't feel like it was gratuitous and unnecessary. It definitely has its place in expressing the realistic kind of ignorant and confused perversion that results from the conservative lifestyle of a Catholic nun. In a way, this film manages to explore the human condition in a comedic but serious way, because even though some of these sexual situations are in a comedy and can come off as kind of funny, it's not unrealistic in the sense that these kinds of situations most definitely occurred in this point of time in our history, where religious conservatism, ignorance, and sexual curiosity blended together and created a very twisted time. And I don't want to spoil this aspect of the movie for you, so all I'm going to say is that this film also explores a certain counterculture to the Catholic nun lifestyle that also existed in this point in time in human history. I'm not going to say what exactly that counterculture is, but just know that it's set up for some engagingly hilarious scenes, and it was one of my favorite aspects of the film. So overall, I thought this was a creatively funny film. It's got a great cast who all did a great job at portraying their characters. The sexual aspects of the film actually contributed to its theme and story, which is something we don't get very often. The comedy doesn't insult your intelligence, and I found a lot of it to be clever and entertaining, so I'm going to give The Little Hours an A. I forgot to mention that Nick Offerman is also in this movie, and he was just a joy to watch. His delivery is always comedically effective, and he was one of the funnier side aspects of this movie. Well, thank you so much for checking out this video and hearing what I had to say about The Little Hours. If you've seen it already, comment below and let me know what you think about it. And if you really like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and share it amongst your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to the Misfit Pawn channel to be updated on more film-related content. And don't forget to subscribe to the Misfit Pawn channel to be updated on more film-related content.